Thank you very much, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Thank you very much for the opportunity to join the webinar and speak. Uh, what I would like to do is actually just reflect a little on the COVID crisis in the last sort of 10 months that we've experienced that, because I think by telling the story a little of what has happened here in Khalifa bin Salman Port, I think I can actually demonstrate, what it is that actually gives us so much opportunity, both here in Bahrain, but across the GCC. So maybe, we're at this 10-month juncture now. It was February in Bahrain when we had our first cases, and shortly after the causeway closed. Now, we were very fortunate to be supported by the government of Bahrain, and the Crown Prince himself formed the task force. And really, we made a decision both as a country, but also as a port, to act quickly and to recognise the seriousness of the crisis. And we moved forward in the port with two very key priorities. And the first priority was to protect our people. And the second priority was to protect our customers and the community here in the Kingdom of Bahrain and our extended community across the GCC. And the reason this was important is because our first priority to both our people and to the Kingdom was to keep the port open. And the way we responded to that was by really working through our entire community, both with our port authorities, the regulators, our government, all of our customers, the customs clearance, everyone, and really looking for where are the risks across our port and across our supply chain. Where are the risks in transmission of infection, where potentially the port could be impacted by quarantine or by increased infection? Where are our customers' businesses going to suffer? Where do they need help? How will we adapt? And not only looking at that just at a very high strategic level, but really inviting the community to come together at all levels and solve these very complex problems. One of the things we had to also do was, of course, come up with exceptionally strong business continuity plans, or test the ones we already had, and again, work with our customers to ensure that they also had their plans. And why do I highlight this? Because I think that was the first point where it becomes very clear that it doesn't matter how strong the port is or how strong the truckers are or how strong the government authorities are. If one of us fail across the supply chain, we all fail, because it's in the wording, it is a supply chain. And I think this is hugely critical at how we moved together. Now, here in Bahrain, we also had the causeway closed, which meant regardless of the fact that to keep our people safe, we were really taking a hit of about 20% of our resource to ensure that our people didn't come together, that they were segregated, that we protected the community. We also handled about 14–15% additional volumes because the causeway closed, and we had to adapt for our customers and for the Kingdom of Bahrain to handle any type of additional cargo. At the same time, Bahrain, as part of its 2030 vision, has some phenomenal projects going on, and the one at the moment is the Babco modernisation project. So we see it very much as our responsibility as a supply chain to ensure, regardless of the global pandemic, that these major improvement projects for the Kingdom are allowed to continue and are not disrupted by COVID, or certainly not within our powers that we can avoid. So that put us in a position where, lower resource to keep our people safe, higher volumes to serve our community, more diverse requirements for our customers, and a real opportunity to demonstrate our partnership across the Kingdom and across our customer base. And I think the reason that I talk about this is because what happened is we didn't survive the crisis, we thrived. And we thrived as a port, and we thrived as a kingdom. And some examples of that are, and I think this is very relevant to when I talk about where the opportunities are going for ports in general, and certainly across the GCC. If I look at our own port, we took our online platforms from handling 25% of our volumes to handling more than 60% of our volumes within 3 or 4 days. We launched 3 to 4 new payment solutions online. We increased our visibility online for truck turn times, for track and trace, lots of things that we just thought our customers more than ever needed to see. And at that time, we didn't stop thinking about the future. So we also welcomed 3 new services to the port, really bringing more connections from East Asia and Pakistan, India, to really start to continue to build this network that we need for the future. And the reason that I think this is such an important story is we as a Gulf state, as the GCC, but also as Bahrain, the most important things that we've learned through COVID is that we can achieve the most when we're agile, when we work together, when we collaborate, when we rely on digital technology, and when we support our people in the kingdom and develop our people. And when I look at the type of future that we have coming into the ports industry, it is very much about this. And what COVID has done is taken a legacy industry and propelled it forward. So we are now in a situation where, you know, people are going to have to take real advantage of all the technology out there, the sensors, the blockchain, AI, big data. And we have been moving towards that. It's been in all of our strategies, and we've definitely been, you know, we certainly here starting to have a view to having blockchain to make things easy with customs across things. But this has pushed us forward. This has pushed us forward, I think, 2 to 3 years. But more importantly, it's shown us that we can implement these things exceptionally quickly, and we can be exceptionally agile, provided we stay very connected to our customers' needs, their products, their markets, and move together as one entity. And when I look at Bahrain, Bahrain has implemented their 2030 vision. They're very much on their way. The infrastructure here is phenomenal. It's an inspirational place for us to be. Our customers are inspirational. And, you know, when you come together as a, you know, we're a professional port operator, but we're also a logistics partner for all of the people across the kingdom, and a facilitator and enabler. And we work with an inspirational government who are developing amazing things, delivering amazing projects. And what we see now with the Safin feeder is we're starting to collaborate even more so across the GCC and look at ways that we can make it easier for us to be a trading partner for China, and really how important the GCC is. And I think what, above everything, is the way that we've responded to COVID should show the world that as they start to reorganize their supply chains, that we now have a demonstrated ability to show them that we can evolve as a port, as Khalifa bin Salman, as a kingdom, as Bahrain, and also as the GCC, to meet the needs of now, but also in the future. And that it's not something we can talk about, it's something that we actually have done, thriving through this situation and protecting our port, our people, our communities through the entire thing. And I think that, for me, it just gives me so much inspiration and hope about how, with all the new technologies coming in and now the opportunities, that if we could expand that collaboration and stick to our principles and stay focused on the digital transformations, we really can market lead in this area. And that's really, I think, what my key messages were for this forum, that regardless of the opportunities that are coming, I think we've demonstrated tremendously through the last 10 months that nothing's impossible, and that we really can take the Kingdom of Bahrain and the GCC, you know, continue to be the leaders in this industry. So thank you very much for the opportunity to tell that story and to be part of this exciting journey in such an exciting region.